He thought he deserved a cut of my wedding gifts. He lost everything instead. I got married a few months ago, and honestly, it was one of the happiest days of my life. Everything felt perfect. The flowers, the music, the love in the air. People were dancing, laughing, crying, happy tears. It really felt like one of those storybook moments. I had zero reason to think anything shady was happening in the background. I was too busy trying not to ugly cry walking down the aisle. Enter Matt, my younger brother. Now, Matt has always been a character. The guy who borrows stuff and forgets to return it. The guy who somehow finds a lost $20 bill in your purse and swears it must have fallen out. But hey, family, right? I figured he was harmless. Big mistake. Fast forward a week after the wedding. Nick, my husband, and I finally sit down in our living room to open the mountain of gifts and cards we'd brought home. And immediately, something feels off. We have way fewer cards than I remember seeing on the table. Like, way fewer. At first, I chalk it up to post-wedding brain fog. You know, maybe I just imagined there were more. But then, over brunch, my aunt casually says,
"I hope you two loved our card. We were so happy to include something extra for your honeymoon."
Cue Nick and me exchanging awkward glances. We hadn't received anything from her. And then, it keeps happening. One cousin, then another uncle, then my childhood neighbor, all talking about cards and gifts we definitely didn't get. That's when panic sets in. We tear through the entire apartment. Every closet, every box, even under the couch cushions. Nothing. Finally, I break down crying and vent to my mom, who immediately goes pale and starts fidgeting with her coffee cup. Without looking at me, she mutters,
"You might want to ask Matt about it."
Matt, who had volunteered, how generous of him to watch the gift table at the end of the reception. Matt, who insisted on loading everything into his car to help us out. I felt physically ill. I called him immediately, trying to stay calm. And you know what he said? He laughed. He actually laughed and said,
"Relax. You two are rolling in it now. I needed it more. Call it a wedding tax or whatever."
A wedding tax, like marrying the love of my life, suddenly made me the IRS for freeloading relatives. I was shaking with rage, but Nick, bless him, stayed ice cold. He simply said,
"Fine, Matt. Guess you won't mind when we tell the whole family you stole from everyone, including Grandma."
Dead silence. See, what Matt didn't know was that Grandma had gifted us a very generous check, one she was extremely proud of because it had been sitting in a trust fund just for this moment. She's old school Catholic. If you disrespect her, you basically die a social death. Family is everything type. So Nick and I didn't scream, didn't start drama, we just invited Grandma to Sunday dinner. Very sweetly, very casually, I said, "Oh, by the way, Grandma, thanks again for your generous card. We actually never received it." Grandma's eyes narrowed like a hawk. Matt tried to play dumb, started stammering, blamed the venue, blamed the staff, blamed crazy wedding chaos. Grandma wasn't having any of it. In front of the entire family, she turned to him, dead serious, and said,
"You stole from your blood. You are no grandson of mine."
And then she pulled out a stack of legal documents she just happened to have in her bag, because apparently she suspected something was shady, and very calmly announced,
"Effective immediately, you are removed from my will and any family trust. Goodbye, Matthew."
You could hear a pin drop. My uncle actually started clapping. Matt's face turned fire engine red. He tried to argue, but everyone literally turned their backs on him. He stormed out like a cartoon villain, slamming the door so hard the salt shakers rattled. And the fallout? Brutal. None of the family will talk to him anymore. He lost his spot in Grandma's will, a lot of money. And because he'd been mooching off the goodwill of family for years, couch surfing, job hopping, he was left completely on his own. Word spread fast. Friends, family friends, even his old teachers. Nobody trusts him now. Last I heard, he was sleeping on some random friend's couch, broke, and begging on Facebook for loan donations. Meanwhile, Nick and I are thriving. Our guests felt so bad about the stolen gifts that many of them resentfully resent new cards, some even with more money, out of pure pettiness towards Matt. We ended up getting back double what we lost and 10 times more love and support than we ever expected. So, in a weird way, thanks Matt, your greed only made our family stronger without you in it.